Hi, I'm Ross, you're listening to KillieCast, and I'm joined by
Andy, and it's great to be back here. And it's a wee while since we've been on, thanks to Ross's holiday. How was your holiday, by the way?
It was very good, thanks very much for asking. I've got a suntan on my feet, which is the first time ever. I'm quite proud.
Impressive. So yeah, we're back, and we've got all sorts to let you lovely listeners hear about. But before that, I believe we have some reviews to deal with.
Yeah, we do. We've got one on iTunes. KillieCast is presented wonderfully by two local guys with a clear passion for Kilmarnock and all things good. Had the pleasure of being part of the KillieCast and the opportunity to highlight the work in a local charity. So that was by Mess Brick. Man, iTunes names are mad, aren't they?
Absolutely.
So if I've mispronounced that, I do apologise. And we got a comment on YouTube, which is having now listened to your three podcasts, guys, and you both have great banter. Big up Killie as a fantastic place to live. There is so much more we can all do to make the town much better place. Absolutely. So thanks very much for that. Was Paul Connell. So thanks very much for taking the time to leave us a message, Paul. It's much appreciated.
Absolutely.
Excellent. So we'll move swiftly on. And by the way, we got a 4-star review. I'm not bitter, but
just not angry, just disappointed.
Not angry, I'm just disappointed.
No, we thank you for your review anyway. If there's anything that we can do to get that one extra star, please do let us know.
Yeah, so we can improve it. It's part of, we want the people of Killie to be as much of the podcast as we are. So if there's anything that we can do to change it or make it better, then just give us a shout and we'll listen to you and try and put it into action.
Definitely.
Right, so what's been on over the last couple of weeks? Well, 3 weeks now since we recorded last. First thing I've got is the Generation X at the Dick Institute. This is to do with the Year of Young People.
There's been a lot made, a big deal made of this by the Scottish Government as 2018 of the Year of Young People. I certainly know at my work at Hampden Park, people with Young Scot cards are getting either discounted or free entry. But that's nothing to do with Kilmarnock, so swiftly aside. But there will be lots of things happening all over Scotland this year as part of that. The Scottish Government are very keen to invest in young people, and this is one of these things. And
speaking to the guys, I think it was Philippa down at the Dick Institute.
Yep.
They were. She was saying that they had been successful in getting funding to run things as well, which is great. I don't think there was many people. I don't know whether many people applied or many people got the funding, but they certainly did. And as part of that, they put on the Generation X. I think it was last weekend. And it looked awesome. They had a FIFA tourney. They had total immersion virtual reality they got helped out by Utopia Computers on that, and they had screen printing. My wee brother's a screen printer, so my ears always prick up when I hear that people are doing screen printing. And pop art style body painting as well, which would have been quite interesting to see.
It would have been useful for around the time of Halloween when you always see someone painted like a Liechtenstein painting. Yeah,
absolutely. So the photos looked absolutely magnificent. The whole thing looked great, and hopefully there'll be lots more activities to come up, and we'll try and keep you posted with as many as we hear of.
Definitely.
So the next thing I saw was the police had a pop-up shop in the Burns Mall. It was open, I think, for about 4 hours, and they were boasting that they had 200 visitors sort of going in and out, and they were getting information about how to deter bogus callers and all that kind of stuff. I think it's pretty good to see the police engaging with the community.
I agree.
It really puts people's fears at ease, and it's nice, I think, to see that.
Yeah, definitely. And people can sometimes give the police a bad name, but ultimately when you do need them, by and large they are there for you, and they're not just they're not all gruff cops. Most of the cops you'll see out in the beat in the street are perfectly friendly, more than happy to help with anything that comes up, and generally just good guys.
Yeah, and just trying to make the place better for the vast majority of people that live here.
Yeah.
I also noticed that they've been posting pretty heavily in their social media accounts over the last couple of weeks that they were increasing patrols in Dean Park. I think they were trying to dissuade underage drinking and they'd seized quite a lot of cargoes from underage drinkers.
Yes, indeed, we are down with the kids.
Yeah, and it's just a risk that you have to take if you're going to underage drink.
Yeah.
Then you might get caught, and if you might get caught, then you might be in bother. So, but again, the people round about Dean Park don't necessarily want to be seen to drink, and it doesn't look particularly good when the cans are slung into a edge.
It can't be good for the wildlife either, given we've got such a good range of wildlife in the park too, including those lovely deer that I love. Love you, deer.
So, moving swiftly on, there was another Music on the Mall down in the Burns Mall. I don't know if I say that Music on the Mall right, but I'm going with it.
Let's go with it. Let's see what happens.
So this time it was the Ayrshire Fiddle Orchestra. They played on the 19th of May. I know, speaking to Tamara Campbell from the Burns Mall, that she's planning on doing loads of these things, so I'm sure we'll be talking more about it. And in keeping with music, Brown Bear played in Bakers, and they were supported by the Cairds. I used to know a guy that was in the Cards. I think I still do. He's a nice guy. I think he works at Hampden. He does a podcast about Kilmarnock as well.
No idea. No idea.
Well, they were very good, as was Brown Bear, and I got his album afterwards. So
it is a good album.
It's excellent.
It's really well produced too. He's just. I think Matt of Brown Bear, his live performances of late have just been like coming in leaps and bounds. I just saw today that he's playing one of the Kelburn parties.
What is he?
This summer. I think it's the one that's like 30th of June to the 2nd of July.
Right.
Don't quote me on that. I'm terrible with dates, but I believe that's roughly about right. So if you like him on Facebook and follow him on Twitter, I'm sure he'll be keen to tell you all about what he's got up to. But that night as well, it was my first time playing the new Bakers as opposed to the old one, which is now the Tartan Suite, and more on that later. And I was really impressed by it. It's considerably bigger. The sound is just as good, and the staff are just as good as well. So all round, double thumbs up from me.
Yeah, definitely. I had a great night as well, and there was a young guy going absolutely mental, dancing to every song.
Yeah.
At one point I think I said to you, oh, that must be Matt's brother, because there's no way anyone gets that excited if it's not a relation.
I think this guy was just having a really, really, really good time.
I certainly was enjoying it.
I think there could have been, I don't know, a blind trombone player playing bebop up there, and he'd have been happy. There could have been a man with a Peruvian nose flute there, and he'd have been perfectly happy. So
I did notice though that he took the time afterwards to go and sort of talk. Matt took the time and go and speak to him and all the rest of it, which is good. Yeah, as a non-musician and a fan, I always appreciate when bands take that time and sign autographs and get photos and selfies and all that kind
Absolutely.
of stuff. That kind of stuff.
It's always disheartening when you hear someone who's a bit like Chuck Berry, like, nah, I don't have time for this, don't have time for that. Plenty more of Chuck Berry stories as well, but let's leave them for another day.
So moving swiftly on, the Kilmarnock Standard today, I believe, we're recording on Wednesday, and I believe today they've got a pull out in this week's paper all about all the good things that's going on in Kilmarnock. It's called Love Kilmarnock. It says Spring 2018 on it, so hopefully this is going to be a sort of recurring feature that happens with the paper, and they're going to sort of highlight all the good stuff.
Absolutely, I hope so.
Comes through Kilmarnock. I mean, we've highlighted over the last, I think this is episode 4, and we've highlighted over the last 4 episodes that there is plenty of stuff going on.
Definitely.
A special out as well last week, and a pull out feature in their paper is easily fillable every month or every 2 months, so hopefully that continues.
And again, that's the kind of thing that we want to cover as well. So like Ross said earlier on, we want you to feel a part of the podcast as much as we are, so get in touch. Yeah, absolutely. And I think that, from hearing, speaking to a few people around the town when we were organising the podcast, a good few people aren't particularly kind to Kilmarnock Standard. And I think this kind of stuff, Love Kilmarnock, and
actually meeting people that are doing different things and highlighting nightlife and all the rest of it. I think that has to be seen as a positive and a good thing. That makes the town better and it makes the paper better. So hopefully they keep that up. I'm really encouraged by that, I have to say. Okay, and the last thing that I've got to report is that the Dapper Squirrel, you know, the restaurant, it wasn't open for terribly long.
No, I remember it more as I've already forgotten the name. Okay, I remembered it was a thing, yes. Carry on.
Yeah, so
it's now reopened.
But is it reopened or is it reopening?
I don't know. All I know is that there's a picture of a cow, and I don't know whether I'm supposed to interpret it's the something and then the words underneath, or...
No, I think it's well, from what I've read, it's the Little Steakhouse in Paisley kind of group. They've taken it over and they posted on their Facebook page, same menu, same great atmosphere, different location, coming very soon.
Well, that sounds good.
Yeah, so
I like steak. I'm on board.
Yeah, absolutely. And when I looked up, you know, you can't hear that there's a new steak restaurant and not look up the menu, especially when they tell you it's going to be the same. So they had like half lobster, and they had like a big sharing plate that came out with brisket and chicken skewers and all the rest of it. And I have to be honest, my tongue is drooling at the thought of
there's a small waterfall
steak
coming out the side of my mouth right now.
Yeah, it looks absolutely tremendous. So hopefully that's a goer, and when it opens up, hopefully everyone supports it and it doesn't go the same way as the Dapper Squirrel, because that was
open.
That wasn't open for too long. Which
no,
was a
it
shame.
wasn't. I mean, when it was Franklin and Sloan,
there you go.
I remember. Thankfully, my memory is not that bad. I remember at first there were a few teething problems, like a lot of restaurants have, but I thought they had it pretty much right. I thought they were doing okay. Then all of a sudden, it changes, and then maybe 3 months later, before I've even had time to go in and see it,
yeah, it was the same.
It's away. So a shame, but it's good we've got something now, and like I say, I'm always up for a steak. So
yeah, definitely, especially if Andy's paying.
We'll talk.
So that's all we've got that's been happening. I'm sure there's more, but with me being on holiday, I've taken my finger off the pulse, which is totally my fault.
And we'll probably keep you up to date on our social media channels if we've missed anything out, which we haven't. We've done a good, professional, consummate job.
Yeah, always, always professional, Andy, always professional.
Never not.
So next we've got what's coming up over the next couple of weeks, and it will be 2 weeks. So, first of all, and it's maybe not the most glamorous thing, you know, you're not going to be saying, right, well, we're going there for a night out, but Alan Brown MP is having a pop-up surgery in the Burns Mall, Unit 8, and it's Friday the 25th of May, that's tomorrow if you're listening to this on the Thursday, or this afternoon if you're listening to it on the Friday.
Yep.
And that's from 12 noon till 2 p.m. And basically, I don't know if you've ever been to an MP surgery. I'm a complainer, so I definitely have been to an MP surgery.
I've not been to one, but if I want to complain, I now know where to go.
Listen, you will not believe the power that MPs have. See if you've ever got a problem or anything and you try and get it fixed and it's just not happening, then an MP is the person to go to, because they know the ins and outs and they know how to get in touch with people that you and I just can't get in touch with. So I would recommend, I went along, well, I actually emailed them instead of going to the surgery, which wouldn't be as good because it's not face to face, but I emailed them, had a problem with Virgin Media and they were being pains, and emailed him. I had been on the phone for what felt like 3 years to Virgin Media, and he had it sorted within 15-20 minutes. It was really quite remarkable. So any problems like that, then go along and make the time to go and see him, because it's well worth going. Even if you just want to meet your local MP, it's well worth going.
Or even ideas to improve the place.
Yeah.
If you don't like something about the town, you don't necessarily have to put it in a complaining way, but it might help. Go and do it.
And he's also running a money advice drop-in event in Ayrshire College on Hill Street on Tuesday the 29th of May between 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. And his thinking behind this was, by all accounts, 90% of the problems that he has to deal with stem from either people being given bad money advice or people not realising what they're signing up to or whatever. And he thought if he opens up this kind of surgery or drop-in event, then it will help people get over and maybe show them how to deal with that kind of stuff better. So I think that will be a cracking thing to go along to.
Yeah, and if you do have any issues with money, or you just want some maybe impartial advice or advice about something, maybe you just want a second, third, fourth opinion, then Alan will be more than happy to provide that.
Yeah, and Elaine that works for Alan, I'm sure she'll be about, and she's a really nice person. She'll put you right at ease. She's great. So that was it for the MP's office. Friday the 25th of May at 7 p.m, that's this Friday again, Michael Timmins is playing the Killie Browser in the train station. They did a sort of drop-in event where people were creating songs. He was helping people to write songs about isolation, about how to help people and all that kind of stuff. So he's performing those songs, and he's also performing songs from his own album, which is called Bone Coloured. So I think that'll be pretty good. A wee intimate gig. Tickets are available from the train station. If you give them a phone, I'll put the link in the show notes, although I've not been terribly great at putting up the show notes quickly enough, if at all. But they'll be, I'll retweet it as well before the event.
Maybe that's why we didn't get the 5th star.
Maybe it is. Maybe it is. It definitely will be my fault then. So another one that I saw on Twitter was challenging homophobia in football workshop, which is on at Rugby Park.
Yep.
The 1st of June. I think that's a Friday as well.
I believe it. Yeah, it is a Friday. Yep. If you're listening to the show on the Thursday, then it's a week tomorrow. If you're listening to it on the Friday, it's a week today.
Yep. And that seems to be run by the Community Trust.
Yep, the Kilmarnock Community Sports Trust,
Yeah,
we've mentioned a lot of their great work earlier on. But for me, I think it's an issue that does need highlighted, because the last player in Britain that I can remember who was openly gay was Justin Fashanu. And that was now, well, that must be verging on at least 20 years.
Yeah.
There have been no other gay footballers, but yet in rugby you have openly gay players. What, fine with them. And openly gay referees as well in rugby. Again, fine.
That's on Friday. Well worth popping along. It's free to get in, admission. It's a workshop kind of idea, so that's, it's worth going along and seeing what's happening. Yeah, so the next thing that I saw was when I was down the town, just before I went on my holidays, there was guys from the army getting their photographs taken for PR shots, because the Scots band, who are the band of the Royal Regiment of Scotland, are playing the Grand Hall on the 15th of June. It's the Walking with Heroes tour, and it's to mark 100 years since the end of the First World War. All the proceeds from the gigs or concerts, whatever you want to call it, go to Poppy Scotland, and the tickets are now on sale. £15 for adults and £12 for concessions.
It sounds a wee bit different from the kind of concerts or gigs, as you said, that I'm used to going to, but it does sound quite good.
Yeah. And
£15 as well, for what you'll get on the night, it will seem like it's well worth the money.
Yeah, absolutely, and it goes to a good cause as well.
Definitely.
The gig, the band are only playing 7 venues across the whole of Scotland.
So we're quite privileged to have them.
Yeah, from what I've read, it seems it's quite a big deal for them to pick the places, and to come to Kilmarnock's a pretty big thing. So definitely show them your support and go out and have a good night, because I think that'll be a belter.
Yep.
So again, at the train station, there's a poetry group that runs every Wednesday. It's from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. on a Wednesday night. It's in the train station itself. Moving On Poetry, I think it's called. Yeah, Moving On Poetry Group. You can get in contact with Caroline on email at carolinejohnson@sky.com, and she's also available on Twitter, where she's got a great handle, Dare to Be Happier. I'll repost. I follow her as well, so you'll see I post quite a lot of her stuff because I think it's really good. And a poetry workshop. I like the sound of it, if I'm being honest.
If you fancy being better with words, or you think you're quite good, then surely that's quite a good way to sharpen up your skills.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or even bring out a creative side that you know, had hidden away for years and years, and if you're a poet and you didn't even know it.
Oh,
Tish. I know, I'm leaving.
Okay, so what gigs have you got for us this week, Andy?
Absolutely, yeah. Rip It Up promotions run by Murray Baxter, who works with Ayrshire College, and also of Kilmarnock's own Twin Heart, is putting on Losing Ground. They're going to be playing at the Tartan Suite, which is the old Bakers at the top of John Finney Street, in case anyone gets confused between the two. On Saturday the 23rd of June, support is going to come from Broadsea and also the Belafonte from Ayr, who, if you're into your grunge, the Belafonte are very probably the band for you. It's 14 plus. The doors are going to be at 7:30pm. Not sure about the price yet, but the tickets are available from Tickets Scotland and losingground.bigcartel.com. So by all means, it sounds like I've been to plenty of gigs in there when it was Bakers previously. Always had a really good sound and always had a really kind of intimate feel to it. And also just off the back of a successful gig just last Saturday there, in which another local band, Mannequin played, and by all accounts that was a smashing gig as well. So yeah, sounds like a good night.
Excellent sound. And then the very last thing that we've got is the tickets for the main stage at K-Fest are now on sale. You get tickets at the Brass and Granite and at Witherspoons, and they've got 5 main artists or main bands playing. It starts at 4pm, finishes at 10:15pm, and tickets are a tenner. That's on Saturday the 28th of July 2018 on the Strand in Kilmarnock. So get down to that. As you heard last week in the K-Fest special, there's loads and loads of stuff going on. That makes up part of it, but for a tenner, you've lost more down the back of a sofa, as Barry said.
I absolutely have.
Excellent. So that's pretty much us. That's all we've got coming up.
We do have one other event though.
Sorry, mate.
Sporting wise, I'd also, before I mention this, just like to say congratulations to Shotley's Amateurs Football Club, who on Sunday just past lifted the Scottish Amateur Cup against Golden Hill FC, beating them 2-1, and fantastic achievement for everyone. And from what I've seen from Facebook videos, it sounded like the Murray Bar was definitely the place to be on Sunday.
Swinging.
Just off the back of that, we also have 2 local teams in contention for the Scottish Junior Cup final. 2 local teams who are well versed in success in the competition in recent years. Auchinleck Talbot, who have won it more times than I've got digits on my hands. They're going to be there, as are Hurlford United, who, having previously won the cup in 2014, the same year as Hurlford Thistle, the amateur team, also had the Amateur Cup, both the cups being in the one village, which is fantastic. It's going to be at Rugby Park, the final, on Sunday the 27th of May. The kick-off is at 4:10. It's a strange time, but it is going to be on BBC Alaba, so if you can't miss it, then can't get it, then you can always tape it. If you do want to come along, it's £10 for adults, £5 for kids, and for senior citizens as well. And it'll be a great family day out. It always is. Whoever's in the final, the town or village, always empties, and they always get behind the boys. So hopefully it will be just as good as last year's when Glenafton lifted the trophy against Auchinleck Talbot. So will they be out for revenge? Who knows?
Excellent. So that's everything that's coming up over, well, not everything I'm sure, but that's a selection of stuff that's coming up over the next couple of weeks. Next we have the section where we speak to a local person or group, and this week we're speaking to Mark Laurie from Utopia Computers. And actually sat down, it's quite a while ago, because I'm just trying to find our feet in terms of how to work the podcast, and I decided to get a few in the can, for an expression, and I spoke to him a few weeks ago now, but what he had to say was super interesting. I had bit my tongue the night before, so when you hear me speak, you'll be laughing, I'm sure.
I didn't laugh.
No, you will.
Much.
You will. So give that a listen. It's well worth it, and the full interview, as always, will be out next Thursday. Sorry, and the full interview is well worth a listen. Mark's a great guy, really interesting. The stuff that he's doing with Celebrate Kilmarnock, with Utopia Computers, he works with STEM, which is helping kids get into science and technology and all the rest of it. It is well worth a listen. He is a great guy and really excellent. So we'll play that now, and we'll get you on the other side of it.
Yep.
I'm Mark Laurie, so I've got a couple of different roles. I'm the marketing director at Utopia Computers based in Kilmarnock, and I'm also a trustee and board member at Celebrate Kilmarnock.
So you spoke a wee bit about Utopia Computers. Can you explain what you do at Utopia Computers and also the awards that you've won? I've seen that you've won quite a few awards.
We're getting quite good at that. So I mean, we are a manufacturer first and foremost. We're a manufacturer of high performance and custom laptops, gaming PCs and professional grade workstations. So we deal with anyone from gamers all the way up to creative digital agencies. They make games and all things like that, so it's really interesting. And a lot of people don't know that we do all that. They just see us a repair store, which we are as well, but they don't see just how much we're growing kind of internationally as well. We ship to 13 countries now.
Right, okay, perfect.
So it's pretty, it's grown pretty quickly. It's really exciting, and obviously we still Ayrshire's kind of number one in leading mobile phone, computer repair and tablet repair. So we do all that under one roof.
Right, okay.
Which is why we're totally outgrown where we are. We need to move, but
right.
That's what we're doing now. And you said about the awards. So yeah, we just picked up the UK's best computer manufacturer system builder award. Right. That's just we won it last year as well. So 2 years in a row. And we also picked up Ayrshire's best business last year.
Fantastic.
And I was looking over the questions yesterday, and I was counting up the awards, and I had to double check it because apparently we've won 15 industry awards in 4 years.
Awesome.
So for a company our size and representing Scotland on the national stage.
So I also heard, and when I was looking up and doing my research, I saw that you were one of the first to pay the living wage in Kilmarnock, and I just wondered obviously there's clear benefits to paying the living wage, but do you find that there's other benefits behind it? You know, is there more to paying a living wage than meets the eye? Is really the question I want to ask.
Absolutely, aye. So I think we were. I need to check my facts here, but I'm pretty sure we were the first business in Ayrshire, and we're definitely the first PC manufacturer in Scotland and manufacturer in Scotland to become a living wage accredited employer. And we're now a living wage champion. So we were one of the first in the first 100 companies in Scotland to do it.
Right.
So we go to the kind of events and we champion it quite a bit, and it isn't just about paying people a bit more money. So I think some people still see that, and a lot of businesses see it as, well, we don't legally have to pay them more, so I don't think we will. And that's just, we encourage it as if you're a profitable business, you should be paying your staff, and the living wage is what is calculated to be what you need to live a decent lifestyle. And it's not that you're going on luxury holidays and all that, and that's been calculated by the living wage team that's what you need to live on, not the minimum wage anymore. So the adverse reaction to that is, it's not just about giving people more money in their pocket, it's also that it takes off the stress and worry about having to make ends meet every month, paying paycheck to paycheck. And all of a sudden, everyone we had with a really happy, positive team anyway, but all of a sudden they take it up to the next level, and then you do start to see people enjoying things more and going the extra mile for everyone, and it's that sort of effect that you can't really monetize.
In a recent article, they were talking about how no place in Scotland is immune to the high street shutdown. They're saying closed shops, and there was another couple of industries are really finding it tough at the moment. Glasgow, I think, was down 46 shops from 2016 to the end of 2017, and that's when you take into consideration the new shops opening up and the old shops shutting. So
with that in mind, and with the thought that Kilmarnock seems to have quite a few sort of empty shops, what is it as a business owner in Kilmarnock that you think that people can do differently to change the fortunes of the town centre?
I mean, it's a difficult one because, I mean, retail specifically is changing. And I mean, I think everyone knows that now. It's so easy. Amazon now do a 2-hour delivery, same day delivery, even next day delivery at the worst case. and it's just things like that if you're just competing on price, then I think you're always going to struggle. And I think consumers, they very much are looking for an experience. So I think the way it's changing is that people that shopped on price, I think, like ourselves, if we see ourselves as a boutique or a specialist, I think it is pretty much go niche or go home, as they saying.
Mm-hmm.
If you're just doing what everyone else does but you're not expensive, or you're trying to compete with like a supermarket, then you're always going to struggle because they've got the buying power.
Yeah.
And same with Amazon, so you just can't do it. So my recommendation would be to focus on what you're best at doing or what you're passionate about, because if you do something you enjoy and you love, then you're never going to work another day in your life, so to speak.
Leading on, that takes us to what it is you're involved in the community. I know you do quite a bit of sort of community work. Would you care to explain what it is that you do?
Sure, right. So I've been part of the Celebrate Kilmarnock Town Centre partnership for about 3 years now, I think. It's kind of flown in. So I was invited along by the board because they wanted to represent someone from a diverse sort of board from every bit of the community. So I'm brought in from part of the business and the kind of IT side.
Right.
So I have some IT kind of consultation and things like that with anything like that, like the website, the social media and the marketing and the branding. So that's really what I'm trying to do, is break down the barriers of what tends to be a bit old hat the way sometimes the local authority and government and some community groups have maybe struggled to try and get their mission across, I suppose, and what they're trying to do within the community over to the people of the town in Kilmarnock. So I'm trying to get that, trying to help the group and work with them to maybe break down those barriers and get more people involved. That it's not just businesses, it's also the public as well. Yeah,
because surely the more people that you can get involved from different backgrounds and different jobs and all the rest of it, the better for the community as a whole.
That's right, yeah. So as I say, I'm part of the board, so we obviously do loads of we do events, and we do the PB events, which is funding community projects, and that's a huge passion of mine. We really love doing that. It's a lot of work, don't get me wrong, but being able to see, like yourself, you're one of the people that got funded, to be able to see these things in action and become real is a massive benefit of doing the volunteer work.
So, with having such a busy business, what is it that keeps you passionate enough to do the Celebrate Kilmarnock stuff, the STEM stuff, and keep the business going?
Lots of coffee. I suppose it's just about what I said at the start there. I chose the career I'm in because I really love doing it, and I think if you are really passionate about something and you get up every day excited to go to work, don't get me wrong, you have your days where you just, it's not just as simple as that, and you're like everybody else, but majority of your days you're really excited to go to work, and every day is different, especially what I'm doing. And the great thing is Utopia supports all the team to go in with the 20% rule, so that you've got 20% of your work week is volunteering, then you get paid to do that. So there's no pressure on you having to go and do loads of extra hours at night potentially. Like, you do that, but you're still paid for your work day as well. So it all comes back to being passionate about it, and especially with the Celebrate Kilmarnock stuff, I didn't want to be another person that stands in the bus station or whatever in town centre and moans. I wanted to finally, I'm not going to moan anymore, I'm going to go do something about it. And
have your say is how you want it made better.
Yeah, exactly, because I think a lot of people have this thing where, they'll fix it, or they should do this, and who's they? Who is that? And what I decided was, well, I'm going to be part of that, and whether that was going to be on the board or just within the wider stakeholders that meet every quarter, then I decided the board was probably a better fit, and I can try and shape the Kilmarnock's regeneration, I suppose.
So, the last thing that we do is do some quick fire questions. It's my favourite part of the interview, mate. I love this. So, question number 1, favourite park in Kilmarnock?
Well, I think we're quite lucky because we've got 3 amazing parks. The Dean Park I use the most, it's closest to where I live. It's good to go for a run and chill out and stuff, especially with the new things they're doing.
Yeah. Okay. Favourite thing about Kilmarnock?
I don't know if this is going to be a super quick fire, but it's kind of what we've touched on again. It's about the community being, they're not just going to settle for anything, they want to be behind everything. It's really close knit. So it's still a big town, but it's a small community. And I think a lot of people do forget that the amount of talent we've got, like yourself and local businesses and stuff here, they forget that that's all on the doorstep. We want to lead the way in things like different industries like data research and cyber security. And we're not just saying we're going to be the best in Scotland or the UK, it's we want to be the best in the world. And I think that's a huge deal because people may throw that term about a wee bit, but to say you're the best in the world at something and be behind that, it's a huge thing. And then the last bit is the travel links. So we're obviously right here in the train station today, so you can pretty much get to anywhere easily in the UK. So Kilmarnock's hundreds of great stuff about it.
Yeah. So number 3, favourite place to eat in Kilmarnock?
I like my food. So I would say there's 2. I'm going to be cheeky again. It's the Longhouse and Da Vinci's.
Right, okay. Have you lived in Kilmarnock all your life?
I have, yep.
Cool. What's the most exciting thing coming up in Kilmarnock?
Most exciting thing, there's loads again, but I would say, so with the Celebrate Kilmarnock side of things, we are trying to breathe life again into King Street. So we want to have a building that's our own, like Celebrate Kilmarnock HQ for loads of groups to come in. So that for me is amazing because King Street, we've been wanting to do something like that for a while. And then on the Utopia side of things, we are going to be moving premises. We're still early doors, but we are looking to be moving to the new Halo project that's getting built across the road.
Right.
That's amazing stuff's happening there. Kind of world leading technology, geothermal and all that, and then a tech innovation hub. So can't wait for that.
Excellent. And then finally, favourite famous person from Kilmarnock?
So I couldn't find any film stars. I don't think there's any crazy film stars for here. I'm sure you'll be in this list one day, Ross.
I don't know about that.
But the main ones for me that I was kind of looking up was, and funnily enough, I thought it tied in nicely because they're both Utopia customers.
Right, okay.
Randomly enough. So we've got William McIlvany, so he's the new campus is named after him.
Yeah.
He's sadly passed away, but he's a hugely famous Kilmarnock author. I never had the pleasure of meeting him, but he has been a customer over the years, and the team, I was talking to the team about it, and he said he was just a really genuine guy, and I never really realised who he was until later on. So you can always tell by a person when that happens. Yeah. And the Telegraph and stuff, he just said like there's many authors that have been admired, but no one really as much as William McIlvany. So I think that's amazing. He's made such an impact. And then there's another customer. I think he's Kilmarnock Comores, so I'll take that one.
I'll give you.
Which is Graham O'Brien.
Right.
Do you know?
Yeah.
Right. Okay, so he's a Flying Scotsman. Again, never realised who he was. Been a customer in his family for years, and again, you can always tell by a person about that. There's been films and books and everything done for him, and he's made a world name for himself.
Yeah, I saw the film actually in the pub.
Right.
At the train station, they were doing a sort of screening to try and promote people getting out on a bike, and he just seems dead down to earth. I've never met him, obviously, but he seems such a nice guy on the film anyway.
Definitely, and I think so many of his close mates are like huge athletes.
Yeah.
And you just would never know. He's just so laid back and such a nice guy. And when I think we found out about it on Twitter, and he tweeted or something saying thanks, and we went on, and he's like he was verified and tons of stuff, and I'm like, who's this guy? And then we'd seen him, and he's like, it's great. What the hell? So
well, in the film at one point he's on the phone to Chris Hoy as if it's
one of his best mates,
brother, you know, oh Chris, how you doing, blah blah blah. And then the next thing he's turning around and he's in his kitchen and he's welding in his kitchen and going, what the hell's going on here? It's just amazing. It's a great film if you've not seen it.
I need to actually see it because it's pretty mad of knowing it, and there's stuff named all over the world with the Flying Scotsman. And I think again this shows you how much talent is kind of notched here.
Yeah.
And there's so many of these things happening that you don't know about until you start to speak to people.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much, Mark, for your time. That's been great. Is there a place that people can go to find out more about Utopia Computers and more about Celebrate Kilmarnock?
Yep, so Utopia, you can get us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and our website is utopiacomputers.co.uk. Social media is all /Utopia Computers.
Right, I'll put links on the show notes to it as well. So
yep, and Celebrate Kilmarnock, it's celebratecilmarnock.com, and Celebrate Killie on Twitter. We'll be moving over to Facebook pretty soon, I'm sure, but you can check out some updates and stuff on there.
Okay.
And also keep an eye on the Twitter and stuff. We'll be announcing when the stakeholder meetings are come along
and they're open to everyone?
The wider stakeholder ones are there, you meet quarterly,
Right,
and they're open to absolutely everyone. So if you've got an opinion, or even if you just want to see the cool stuff that's happening, because that's important, and pop along to that, and we'll put it out on the likes of Twitter.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much, Mark. Thanks for your time.
No worries, Ross. Thanks for having me.
Cheers.
So, thanks very much again to Mark for doing that interview with us. As I said, great guy, really interesting stuff that he's doing, and listen to the full interview next Thursday because it really blew me away. He talks about his 20% working week and, you know, paying the staff living wage instead of minimum wage. Really, really worth listening to. A great guy. So, that leads us on to exit of the pod, for want of a better expression. Thanks very much for listening. Andy, where can people get in touch with you if they want to?
People can get in touch with me either via any of the comments sections, or if you want my personal Twitter, it's shandyk_. Don't ask why it's that, it just is. And Ross, if people want to get in touch with the pod, we are on Facebook at KillieCast, we're on Twitter, and as well, if you want to just get in contact with us in any of the comments sections and any of the places where the podcast is available, please do it. And if you're listening on iTunes or anything else that has a rating system, please give us stars, because the more stars we get, then the more people we can reach, and so on and so forth. So share the love.
Yeah, the comments that we get and the ratings, especially the 5-star ones, are much appreciated, and it helps us. It boosts us up the iTunes charts, which means more people can hear what we're doing, which really is what we're here to do. So with that, Andy, thanks very much for taking the time speaking to me.
No worries, Ross, and thank you for having me once again.
No, perfect, and we'll see you guys in a couple of weeks.
See you then.
Bye.